The Xiaomi SU7 has been a smash hit in China, flying up the sales charts and delivering over 250,000 units in just over a year. So, does that make this car their difficult second album? Let's find out today whether it's a smash hit or not. This is Inside China Auto, and this is the Xiaomi U7 music. Yes, this is the Xiaomi U7, and what a car to celebrate our 100th video on the channel. I want to say a very quick thank you to everybody who watches, likes, comments, and subscribes. It's all massively appreciated. But I'm not going to take any more of your time. Let's talk about the Xiaomi U7, the brand's second model, their first SUV. And let's bear in mind that in China, the SU7 has delivered over 250,000 units in just over 1 year. In China, the SUVs tend to outsell their saloon counterparts by about 3 to 1, which means this car could potentially sell 34 of a million units in 1 year. Which means that the biggest headache, I think, for Xiaomi is going to be just how many of these things they can make. And that might be what slows them down going into international markets. But let's see. Anyway, as you can see, let's address the elephant in the room with the U7. Like the SU7, which had a strong resemblance to the Tayam, the U7 has a strong resemblance to the Ferrari Purang. There you go. We've got it out the way. It looks very similar, and it's not a bad thing. The Purasang is a very good-looking SUV, as is the U7, which looks absolutely stunning in this metallic forest green color. This is the standard color for this car. So you'll see a lot of them being bought like this. I believe there's going to be probably about 8 or 9 different colors. We've got 4 announced so far. There'll be more announced when this car is launched officially later on this week. Let's talk a little bit about the design of the car. And we'll start with these almond-shaped headlamps. These are the traditional Xiaomi designs. Now you got your plus-shaped daytime running lights there, your headlamps down here, and then we've got little air inlets all over the car to improve the arrows up here. This is an air inlet that comes out on top of the bonnet over there, and the same on the other side. You've also got air inlets that go around the wheels down here. You got air outlets that come out of the wheel arch here on the door, and you've got more towards the back of the car coming out the back. So it is a pretty streamlined car. And as you can see, it does look actually very live and athletic. It's quite a bit lower than a Zeekr 7X. We've got it on currently the lowest suspension setting. It does come with dual-chamber air suspension that is adjustable by 75 millimeters. So, it can go up 50 millimeters or down 25 millimeters to give a maximum ground clearance of 222 meters. A little bit shorter than the 230 that you can get on a Zeekr 7X, but nevertheless, quite a useful amount of ride height on this car. So, it does look very low. It looks very compact. Despite that, it's actually just a smidge under 5 mm long. It's a lot bigger than you think it is. It looks a lot smaller in real life. They've done a very good job with the proportions of the U7. Now, speaking of proportions, you can see the bonnet here. Looks pretty big. This is a massive bonnet, and that's because we've got a big frunk underneath here. And there's a few interesting ways you can get access to it. If you have your digital key, which will be on your phone, you can stand in front of the car for 3 seconds. It will automatically pop open. Or you can walk around the side and you can press this button on the sort of black piece of plastic here that will open it. Or you can even talk to the Xiaomi assistant from the outside. So there you go. So she's now confirming that. And you can see in here a massive 141L fringe. That's one of the biggest ones on the market. You can get a 24-inch suitcase there. If you go to the beach, you can throw all your dirty stuff in there. Take the plug out. Keep it nice and clean as well. Guan, there you go. You can even talk to the car to close it as well. There's a few other ways you can do it from the inside of the car as well, but I think that's a pretty neat thing on the front of the U7. So I said that's your bonnet over there. We also get a choice of 6 different alloys. We've got 21-in alloys. You can get 19, 20, or 21-in. These are pretty meaty. You can also get Michelin or hand-cooked tires on this, so pretty decent brand names on there as well. We've also got some kinds of outlets down here. You'll notice we have a LiDAR unit on the top of the windscreen that is for your HNA or HOA, I think it is, which is the autonomous driving system of Xiaomi. So it will do highway and urban autonomous driving as well. We haven't had a chance to really test that out in an urban setting. We'll save that for a future video, but so far on the highway on the way here, it was pretty good. So yeah, you've got a really sort of streamlined design here. You got a massive panoramic roof, which we'll talk about more when we get inside. You get sort of pop-in door handles, so they go flush here. You can pop them inside to open your doors there. On the Max version, you also get soft close as well, so they close nice and softly. And they go all the way to the bottom to keep your pants nice and clean. Of course, you get cameras and stuff all the way around here for your autonomous driving as well. Frameless windows, which are, by the way, double glazed all over the car on all versions except the rear window, which gives this car an exceptionally quiet cabin. So yeah, this is the U7. Big chunky horns here at the back. Let's have a look at the back. Here at the back of the U7, you can see we get again a very sporty dynamic rear end on this. Big spoiler up at the top, little ducktail spoiler on the back. You can get both of these in carbon fiber if you want to make it look a little bit more sporty. You see, we've got air outlets down the back. Real aero on this car. You got kind of a fake diffuser down there. And then you got the traditional ring light all the way around the back here. I do have to say the back of this car doesn't look great in photographs, but in person, it's much better because you can really appreciate the curvature of the back. The car doesn't look quite as flat in real life as it does in photographs. So, it's quite a good-looking back end. The only downside is no rear wiper, which might annoy some people. Certainly in my audience that do comment on the videos. Now, just like the front, you can open the boot either with this button down here via your app on your phone. You can get a shortcut on your Apple phone if you want to open this. Or you can say, sorry, let me get that right. There we go. I said close instead of open. So there you go in here. A really big amount of boot space. So 678 L of boot space just in here, which is pretty impressive for a car of this size given how big the cabin is and how long the bonnet is as well. You also get more space under the boot floor there. A good useful amount of boot space in there. You can, of course, fold down the rear seats. You got two little switches in here to fold those down. That opens up 1,558 L of space. So, add that to your 141 in the front. Makes this a pretty spacious car. It's got actually more boot space in here than you get on a Zeekr 7X, which is quite impressive. And you also get a really cool feature in here, which is a magnetic rail just inside the top of the boot there. And in there, you can basically stick on different devices. So you can stick a projector on this so you can watch films out the back of the car. You've got sort of quartering screws so you can attach cameras to watch the rear occupants in your car if you have children, for example. And you even get things like lights. You can basically put these lights on and you can program all of these things to work on the system and basically open at a certain time. So if you open the boot, or when you're driving at nighttime, these lights will come on, basically just program them as you want. So some really neat little features just built there into the top of the car, which I really like. Xiaomi has thought of a lot of things, and actually there's way more of that in the inside of the car, which I do think you're going to be quite impressed by. But yeah, overall, I would say I really like this design. I love the paintwork. I love the shape of it. Big chunky hornies here. By the way, here's our charge port there. You get pretty decent charging on this. Up to 5.2C, which is, I believe, just under 500 kilowatt are the maximum you can get on this. So it will charge pretty quick. You get two battery choices. One will charge 10 to 80% in 21 minutes. One will charge 10 to 80% in 12 minutes. That's the bigger battery that we have on the U7 Max. But now, let's check out the interior. Music now, inside the U7, the first thing I have to point out is that this car feels significantly better quality than the SU7. Now, the SU7 was a very nice car. I liked it a lot, but there were little bits where you felt like it didn't feel quite as high quality as some of the other cars in China. No problem here on the U7. They've learned a lot of lessons from the SU7 and made a considerably tighter car here. Everything just feels better. The overall ambiance and the materials also feels much better. So we start with its leather on top of the dashboard. You got leather here as well. Here you get carbon fiber, but you can get wood grain on there as well. This is real carbon fiber, proper textured stuff. There's even a little sign on the back of the dashboard there that tells you that it's real carbon fiber. You get carpet underneath here, so kind of a fabric material. You get microfiber in your doors and on your ceiling lining as well. The only plastic you'll find is inside the door pocket. That's it. Even the outside is covered in leather. So it does feel like a very premium interior. And I have to say, if you're coming out of something like a Tesla Model Y, some people may appreciate having an interior that is simplistic and minimalistic. I really like what they've done here inside the U7. It feels much more sporty. So this kind of contour in the dashboard there feels a bit like you're in a cockpit, whether you're on the driver's side or the passenger side. And it just looks really good. The material choice is nice. Great in this tan color. I think they have 4 different interior colors. A kind of light gray, a darker gray, and I think you can get a black as well as this kind of sort of lovely orange tan color. So, it does feel like a much more premium interior here than on the SU 7. You get the same sporty steering wheel. This is also a sort of leather as well. You can get Nappa leather for your seats. I believe that's optional. Other than that, you get, I believe it's a PU leather. And the whole interior, by the way, is Right Tech certified. So it's 100% safe. If you have kids with sensitive skin, they can play in all parts of the car, and they're going to be totally fine in the U7. The steering wheel is heated, seats heated, ventilated, and massaged here in the front. 10-point massage. And you can also get optional zero-gravity front seats. It's got a butterfly inside the car. Now let's just open my front window. See if it'll fly out again. That's going to be distracting. There we go. It's left. So yeah, we also get a zero-gravity front seat. And that is on my seat as well, because Xiaomi apparently has realized that the driver is the one who gets tired while driving, and sometimes he wants to sleep in this seat rather than that one. So I can go into my seat menu here. Let's go to the end one over there, and let's put this passenger seat into the laid-back mode. So that's now going to go into sorry, that's my seat. I want the passenger seat. There we go. There you go. So it's now going to go into zero-gravity mode. See, it's sliding back. The base cushion's going to tilt up. It's going to go to something like 121 degrees or something like that, and you get your leg rest coming out down here as well. You can also do this by a button on the side of the seat as well. And there you go. Zero gravity front seat. I can also do that in my seat, but I'm presenting a video, so I'm busy. Let's do some other things from here. So again, the interior 16.3 and 3K screen in the middle. Big clear screen. Runs on the HyperOS operating system. It's a lovely operating system. You get your kind of car features here, and you get these 3 big tiles. You can simply drag them out to make it full screen if you want to, or you can drag them to go back to your 3 tiles there. You got your car, you've got your maps, you've also got your kind of entertainment over here. So, you can change these tiles for the different apps in the system. You, of course, get drag down menus from the top. Left side stuff for me, right side stuff for the passenger if I drag down on that side, which again is quite useful. And you also get the same kind of docking features on the screen as well. There's a lot of docking stuff in this car. Let's talk about that. So you can get these optional switches here. These simply clip on the bottom and you screw them in on the back. So you've got these physical switches for your ventilation and your temperature. Tri-zone climate control. So different for me for the passenger and for the rear passengers as well. Get a big dial in the middle to change your volume and press play and pause and your songs as well. So that's really quite useful. A lot of people like to have the physical switches there. Simply press those up and down to change your volume and temperature and things like that. And if you want to, you can just also drag on the screen if you prefer to do things that way. Or, of course, you can talk to the car with your digital assistant as well. So, a really good screen. You also get mounting points on the side for other little features. Not sure if they're still doing the kind of music dancing lights on the side of the screen for karaoke. Of course, you can do karaoke with this as well. All of that backed up, by the way, with either a 14 or a 25 speaker sound system. 25 is standard on the Max version, including one in each of these 2 headrests as well. Good Xiaomi sound system. You get metal grates on your speakers, so it does look good as well. Even up here on the roof, you get the proper kind of silvery speakers. So again, everything is quite premium, and making the most, I would say, of that Xiaomi ecosystem. But we've got a lot more to talk about apart from that. One thing you might not be able to see on the view is this panovision. I think they call it hypervision at the back of the screen there. So, instead of having a head-up display, because the window is pretty short here, this dashboard is quite short, you couldn't really get a head-up display in there. So, what they've managed to do is build sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Mythical head-up display? Kind of a fake head-up display at the bottom of the screen. So you get 3 screens across the back there. One for your driving functions in front. You get one for your maps and things like that in the middle. You can also change it for different things in the system. And you've got one over there for your music. You can play your lyrics from songs on the screen as well. And you get these really funky little characters. You get a capybara, which seems to be madly popular these days, at least in China. Not sure about everywhere else. A very cute little capybara that kind of bursts out of some oranges on the screen, or has a little orange drop on its head. It's a lot funnier than it sounds. I'll show you a clip of that. Or you can get an otter as well. and the otter will literally dance around the screens at the back. Can, of course, turn it off if you don't want them. But the otter, again, is quite cool. When you go around the corners, the cars, like the characters, either sway with the corner direction that you're going around, or they kind of hang on for dear life like the otter does there. So again, really cool features there. Fun little things that a lot of people are going to like. Bit different from Neo's Nomi. I would say I kind of prefer this more. It's a little bit more alive and the characters are genuinely cute. They are funny to watch. So I think kids are going to love that. But again, a good screen. The hypervision over there. I believe it's 1.1 meta wide. It kind of looks a lot deeper in the dashboard because it's kind of projected onto the black of the bottom of the windscreen there. So it looks like it's got real screens embedded deep in the bonnet, but actually they're just projected up there. It's kind of like 3 little head-up displays projected inside the car. We also get like on the SU7 special mounts. So here on the side, and you'll see one on this side as well. You can literally unscrew this little mount. Now, on the SU7, you could only stick things on. They weren't powered. But in this car, they're actually powered. So you can literally put in different accessories, wireless phone chargers, or even just kind of a thing that plugs in. There's one in here, actually. Let's open the glove box and show you this. So yeah, here you've got this thing, and you can basically unscrew the screw. You pop this in, and then you can mount different things on here. So you can mount your car cameras if you want, like GoPros and things like the Pocket 3 that I'm filming with now. You can also film other stuff, and you've got wired charging in there up to 27 watts. You can even plug your phone in or just plug in the device so it stays charged. So again, really useful little features on this. Now, speaking of the glove box, by the way, this is enormous. It's password protected, so you can open it on the screen. There's no physical button to open it in real life. 13.7L. You can get, I think, 714 in laptops stacked up in there. It goes really far back. I was sitting here earlier. I can't even reach the back of it. I have to lean really far forward to get there. And you can get dividers and stuff in there as well. So again, another nice feature in terms of little cubby holes and space in the U7. Let's talk a little bit about those kinds of cubby holes. So here on the door, we've got a space for our phone. You get all of those all around the car for everyone. You get 80-watt ventilated wireless chargers here in the middle. By the way, 80 watts, so you can charge there. You've also got big door pockets. Speaking of the door pockets, you get an umbrella in the driver's door that kind of slides into there. You also get one in the passenger side door as well. So you both have an umbrella in the front of the car. And again, like on the SU7, you also get all sorts of adaptability under here for things like Xiaomi's walkie-talkies. You can plug those in down there so you can talk to other cars while you're driving. You get hangers for a torch under here as well. And you get these little pop-out hooks there to hang bags on as well. Just loads of little ideas, little cool things to do. You also get a magnetic mounting point down here. So you'll see this is a pair of sunglasses holders here. Xiaomi Life sunglasses holders. You can simply magnetize those onto the back there and store your sunglasses down there. Loads of storage space. USB sockets as well. You also get some more USB sockets in here, and of course cup holders as well, which can be flushed to the top or pushed all the way down to the bottom. Speaking of magnetic stuff, on the back here you get a magnetic tissue box holder. If you're a parent and you have small children, having tissues nearby is always useful. So Xiaomi basically made it so that it fits in the car. You can magnetize it onto there or you can magnetize it onto there, so you've got tissues in the back as well. So, again, nice little features that just stop them flying around, makes them always available. And then you also get these things. So, this is a little button. You can apparently store 12 different functions here. You can access those in the system by going to the settings and choosing your kind of accessories. I can't remember which page it's on now, but you can choose your accessories here and program them. So what you can do, for example, you can have one of these. You can stick it down there, or you can stick it, let me remember, you can stick it on the B pillar on the back. You can stick it on the side of the seats here, and if you press it, for example, one thing you can do is have your glove box open. So, if you want to kind of put your button on, I think the back of the screen is, or somewhere like that, you can store it up here, and you can basically open that. You can also take it into your house with you and have it prepared. So, let's say it's summer, and you want the car to be cool when you get in the car, or it's winter and you want it to be warm. You can program it to prep the car, make the car warm, get the heated seats on. Simply press it in your house, and it will immediately talk to your car and tell your car to prepare itself. So, again, really useful. You can buy a little bunch of these. You can stick them all over the car, stick different modes on, and everybody can do their own little things simply by pressing it. You can press it once or hold it down to get two different options at the same time. So again, just cool little features in this whole sort of Xiaomi ecosystem inside the car. It's pretty warm today, by the way. 33 there. It feels a lot hotter here inside the car. Now, one thing we do get as well, you also get another mounting point up here where you can plug in your 4K recording camera. So that's recording forwards in the car. You can also get one on the magnetic rail at the back. Now we've got our roof here, which is over I think it's 1.7 square meters or meters squared or something like that. This is triple layer silver coated, and it can prevent up to 99.9% of sunlight rays getting into the car. It's essentially the same as a physical sun blind, and in some cases actually better. You can do that here. Press that button, and over the next 2 minutes or 2 to 3 minutes, this will get really dark. So much so that you can actually look at the sun from inside the car. It does a really good job of keeping the sunlight out. So again, another useful feature if you don't want to have a built-in sun blind inside the car. What else can I tell you? The steering wheel, you've got your ADAS functions. You got your drive modes on here like you get on the Porsche steering wheel, so you can switch between your modes. They'll kind of change on that screen at the back there to go red for sport and yellow for your normal driving. You get custom modes in there as well. You get a button here for your ADAS to turn that on while you're driving. You, of course, get automatic parking in this car, and of course you can talk to all of your devices at home from your car as well. Turn on your air conditioning, turn on your rice cooker, turn on your robot vacuum cleaner, whatever you've got that is shown with it is connected at home. You can connect all of that via the system. So again, it's just a crazy car. There's so much connectivity here. I said heated, ventilated, massaging front seats. One thing I really like about these is, okay, we're missing the base cushion extension. That's the one thing I would like to have a bit more base cushion extension. But because you get that zero gravity functionality in the seat, you can literally tilt it all the way up here. So it makes it feel like you're in a bucket seat. It's really good when you're driving. You can't get that kind of tilt angle on pretty much any other car in China. The only downside is you can't really get a very low seating position. This is as low as it gets. There you go. This is as low as it gets inside the car. But the visibility is generally good. You get big domes on the bonnet as well. I appreciate, by the way, this is a very long spiel about this car, but there is a lot to talk about and there's even more in the back. So I think it's probably about time that we go in the back and check those things out. Now, for once in the back of a car, we've actually got quite a lot to talk about here as well. We'll start with the usual space. Plenty of footroom down there. That seat is as low as it will go, as you can see. Loads of space for my feet. Plenty of knee room. This seat would actually be a little bit closer, I think, if I was driving. So, plenty of space there. One thing I really like about this car is the base cushion is quite high. I don't know how in such a short car they've managed to squeeze this in, but you get good thigh support on this car. So, you're not kind of sitting with your knees up here. It does feel comfortable. And as you can see, plenty of headroom as well. I think 77 mm of headroom. They say 73 mm of knee room. I think it's quite a bit more than that. The knee room is absolutely plentiful here. Maybe it means the distance to the back of the front seat. I don't know. But the one thing you don't get is pockets on the back of the front seat. That's one thing they're missing. But you do get big door pockets down here. You don't get the umbrellas in the back, but what you do get is a 5.3L drawer down here, where if you have kids, you can store some clothes or spare tissues or nappies, things like that. So again, useful space in the back of the car. We also get, I believe it's a 4.7L fridge down here. So you got drinks in there. You can get, I think it's from 2 to 15 degrees. So you can't really store ice creams in there. They might start to melt a little bit, but 2 to 15 degree or 35 to 50 degree if you want to heat stuff up as well. Also get 2 USB sockets on there. And you get this screen, which is a detachable screen in the back. It's essentially like a little mobile phone. And here you can control your ventilation. You can control the heating on all 3 of these rear seats. You can check your navigation, put your location in there if you want to give the driver instructions from the back. You can play your music there. And you've got other options on there as well for things like the panoramic roof, which, by the way, you may have noticed has gone fully dark now. So it does make it a bit darker inside the car. So, again, a little useful screen in the back there. Most of the screens that are usually here, you can't take them out and use them from your seat. You have to lean forward and play with them down there. Of course, like on the SU7, you get mounting points on the back of the front seat so you can stick on Xiaomi tablets or other Android tablets or iPad tablets as well. This car is fully compatible with Android phones and with Apple phones. You can get specific apps on your phone on your shortcut menu to do certain things with the car and unlock it in case of instead of your torch. You can have your car opening from your phone, stuff like that. So, they've made sure that the full Xiaomi ecosystem is available to all people, whether you are Android or Apple at the same time. You get more speakers here in the back. You get electronic backrest angle adjustment as well. So you can go back as far as 135 degrees to really chill out in the back of the car. Although you'll notice my head gets quite a bit closer to this cross member here at the back of the car. But you do get electronic backrest adjustment on both of these two rear seats. We do, of course, get an armrest in here as well with a bit of space there for your phone. Kind of a soft PU space there and 2 cup holders as well if you want to. Now, we do get ISO X mountings. They are hidden behind little zips. Honestly, these might be good. They're not that difficult to get to. But the problem is they're kind of like a bit of fabric you have to part open, which is not the easiest to do when your car seat is very heavy and fits in there. So, I think they could do better, to be honest, with the ISO X mountings on these rear seats. But again, I said heating on all 3 of these rear seats. And unlike a lot of cars which have 4 zones, speaking for the 2 front passengers and the 2 outside passengers, this one has 5 zones. So if you're sitting in the middle, you can also speak to the car and it will recognize that you're sitting in this seat so that it can put the heating on just for you. As I mentioned, it is tri-zone climate control. So you get your vents down here as well. You can change the temperature for the back. Speaking of those mounting points, here's your little button again. One on the side of the seat there. You can pop one on the middle just here above the screen. You got 2 spaces there. You also get 2 spaces on the roof in the front there. I forgot to mention those. Let's stick that back in the middle. Yeah, a bit more space for your phone in the doors. Again, lovely materials back here. Totally flat floor, so you get plenty of space there as well. Your mounting points for useful stuff in the back. Overall, it's just that it feels like they've really thought about everything in this car. And that's one of the things that we were always promised. With EVs, that you would get a car that had more space utilization. Because you haven't got a big nasty engine in the way and exhaust pipes and all that extra stuff. And it does feel like Xiaomi has used that space, particularly with the glove box, which goes all the way back with the drawer under the rear seat here. You got your fridge in there. A surprising amount of headroom and leg room and thigh support, given that it's such a low-down car as well. And yeah, that's the inside of the U7. Let's take it for a drive. Music. Now, if you've seen our review of the Xiaomi SU7, you'll know that it is the most sporty or the sportiest handling Chinese car of all. One of the great things about Xiaomi is they don't just sacrifice the driving experience. They have a soft, mushy drive. They actually make it feel focused. And the great thing about the U7 is you get all the same performance in this car as well. When you put it into Sport mode or Sport Plus mode, you get 2 sport modes in this car. You get very precise steering. The variable damping keeps the car lovely and flat around corners. You got pretty good traction on it as well. I'll be honest with you, we haven't had a massive amount of time driving this car on roads like this. We drove it on the highway earlier. I can tell you it was super refined on the highway. The double glazing all the way around this car makes it super quiet on the highway. A very nice ambient experience inside. Again, we haven't really had a chance to try it on very choppy roads, but on the bits that we did, such as crossovers and bridges and things like that, it did ride them very well. So I do think the dual-chamber air suspension, which is standard on the Max version of this car, does work pretty well. So, let me tell you about the specs of this car. You get 3 different versions of the U7. The base version, which is simply called Standard, is a single-motor version. 235 kilowatts of power on the rear axle, 580 Newton-meters of torque, which is pretty decent for a car with a single motor on the back. Quite impressive. I've always said that most people only need 200 kilo of power on the rear axle, so 235 is pretty good. It's good for a 0 to 100 kilometer per time of 5.88 seconds. Again, not that bad. If you go for the Pro version of this car, you get an additional $130 kilo motor on the front axle. So 365 kilowatt in total. That's 680 Newton-meters of torque. I think something like that. Might even be a bit more than that. That will get you 0 to 100 in 4.27 seconds. So again, pretty damn quick. On the max version, which we have, the all-singing, all-dancing one, you get a total of 58 kilos. And I don't know yet what the split is front and rear, whether you get 254 on both axles or if you get more on the rear. We don't know. They haven't really given us that information so far, but that again is blisteringly quick. 0 to 100 in 3.23 seconds. At any speed. You can pin your foot in the throttle and it will shove your neck right into the headrest. It's crazy how quick this car is. That is 866 Newton-meters of torque. So it's bloody quick. And the great thing is, like the SO7, it delivers on the driving experience as well. If you tone it down and put it into comfort mode, you get on the screen 408 PS of power. It's about 44 horsepower, which just makes everything a bit softer, makes the ride a little bit more comfortable, and makes the acceleration a bit more gentle. Pop it into sport mode, you immediately feel things tighten up a bit more. The accelerator becomes much more sort of heavy, let's say. The steering gets a bit heavier and you get much more feel. And then, of course, you can pop it into Sport Plus mode. Everything goes red to tell you that you're in Sport Plus mode. The steering gets way more precise and it just absolutely moves. Wow! It's ridiculously quick. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that we've had a really full test of this car. We've only had it for a few hours today. We drove about 40 kilometers on the highway, which of course isn't really representative of driving around mountain roads like the ones that we're in now, but I can say in the limited driving that we've done here in the mountain roads near to where we're staying today, it's been absolutely brilliant. It's far better, far more precise and engaging and exciting than any other SUV on the market. We really liked the Zeekr 7X. That was probably one of the most engaging SUVs. Did feel quite good to drive. This just takes things to a whole extra level because that's just what Xiaomi wants. Xiaomi wants to have a car that you can drive aggressively and enjoy, and also one that you can sit back and chill out in if you want to. At the same time, you get two different choices of batteries on the U7. So the smaller battery, which goes on the standard and pro versions, is a 96.3 kilowatt battery. That will get you 835 kilometers of range on the CLTC cycle. So, knock about 25% off on the standard version. It will get you 770 kilometers of range on the Pro version, and that will charge from 10 to 80% in 21 minutes. I believe something like 250 kilowatt peak power on the charging for that one. So about the same as a Tesla supercharger delivers. On the max version of the car, which we're driving today, you get a 101.7 kilowatt battery. That's an NMC battery as opposed to the LFP for the smaller one. This will get you 760 kilometers of range on the CLTC cycle, which I believe is about 50 or 60 kilometers more than the most powerful Zeekr 7X. So Xiaomi has clearly done some impressive work on the efficiency of the motors in this car compared to the Zeekr, and I think that could be a bit of a deal breaker for a lot of people. It will charge from 10 to 80% in 12 minutes, so it's 5.2C charging very quickly. It'll add something like 520 kilometers of range in 15 minutes, which is absolutely brilliant. To be honest with you, we haven't really had much chance to drive on roads all day to kind of give you accurate figures of what the car has been delivering. I believe on the highway we were getting something like 18 or 19 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, so I would say it's actually not that bad. It's pretty good compared to a lot of other cars in this range. I think most, single motor cars can get something like 13 or 14. So I would say in the real world, driving at high speed all the time, 18 or 19 is not that bad on this car. Now let's talk about ADAS. We haven't had a chance to try the ADAS fully. We'll save that for another video if Xiaomi will invite us back to Beijing to try out their ADAS system and do one of those full tests. But on the highway, it was good. It made lane changes in time. It slowed down. It read the speed signs very well. It wasn't kind of aggressive. It didn't kind of make bad lane changes, things like that. So it was pretty good. I would like to try it properly and really sort of work it out. But so far it was quite good. I'd like to test it again in urban areas. Of course, we are liars. You get all these kinds of functionalities. A cool thing, by the way, with the Panovision screen or the Hypervision screen, there is, if you put your indicator on, it shows your blind spot in the corner. And you can make it go over here and over here. So it's directly in front of you. Or you can make it go on the other side of the car over there. So, it's a bit like a wing mirror on the other side. Or you can put it on the screen here in the middle if you want to do things like that. Now, by the time this video goes out, the prices will have been announced, or at least the pre-sale prices will have been announced, because, as we know, pre-sale prices come out and then a different price tends to come out later. So, what we'll do is in the pinned comment at the top of the video or just below the video, I'll put the actual prices from the launch event on. I think it's Wednesday or Thursday when this car is getting launched later this week. So we'll stick that at the bottom. The car in the video will be live when those prices come out. We're expecting it to start at something like 250,000 RMB. Might even be a little bit less, but honestly, you're getting so much stuff in here. I think it would be fine at a higher price. So yeah, that is the Xiaomi U7. So that's it for our review of the Xiaomi U7, a car that has genuinely impressed me more than I expected it to. Now, we loved the SU7 for the way that it drove, because it was sporty in a way that no other Chinese car is, had great practicality for a saloon, and it was very connected and it had a pretty good interior as well. But I do think Xiaomi have learned a lot of lessons between that car and this one, and they've applied them all to the U7. When you get inside, this car instantly feels like a more premium product. It's better screwed together, feels a lot tighter, and it's got a great choice of materials as well. But it impresses you in all the little details because all the things that were great about the SU7 have been improved in the U7. So the mounting points, for example, now have power connectivity to them. You can apply all kinds of different stuff: magnetic phone holders, camera holders, charging points. You got the magnetic rail at the back of the car, magnetic tissue boxes. This is a car that feels like someone's really thought about all the details. And for me personally, that's useful. That's valuable. I think I like having a car where it feels like someone's thought about how people will use it. And for that reason, I think this car will appeal just as much to men as it will to women, because there's something for everybody in here. As well as the stunning looks, of course, you get the great sporty powertrain, which can be sporty or comfortable as you wish. You also get a practical interior. Very practical, in fact. All the little useful spaces, connection points, and places to hide things, and umbrellas, and the doors. There's just a lot of thought going into this car. The way you can open the front with your voice or your card or with the button on the side. It's got great connectivity as you would expect to the Xiaomi ecosystem and all those things. And whether you're an Apple or an Android user, you will find a home inside the U7. The performance is fantastic. It is super quick, and I think it will probably get a more premium price point. We don't know until Wednesday, but I do think it commands it because it is a significantly better car than the SU7 was. It's altogether a better package, and I think it looks fantastic. I think this car will be the reason why Xiaomi might be delayed more in international markets, because they will sell this by the bucket load. And if they can't make enough of these for the domestic market, how can they even think about going to the international markets? They're going to have to build new factories in order to sell enough of these cars. I think it will hit the sales charts, and Xiaomi will be right up there. They may even overtake Tesla in China, which would be impressive in itself with just 2 models on sale. I'm really impressed with the U7. A lot of thoughts went into it. I absolutely love it. Once again, thank you to everybody who's watched us through our 100 videos so far. Do please stick with us for the next 100 videos. We can't wait to bring you more amazing cars outside of China. Thank you very much for watching. If you do, thank you for subscribing. If you like this car, give it a thumbs up so more people can see the great cars coming out of China. And as ever, we'll catch you next time.